Testing, testing, one, two, three. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this workshop on how AI agents are able to support you in your work and your business. I'm your host, Amber, and I'm going to be doing this workshop for you today. So, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. So, who am I? So, I am an AI business and automation expert, and I am the co founder of a business called Mindable, where we teach businesses just like yours how they can automate with the use of AI and AI agents. So, I'm certified for AI in business from the Wharton University of Pennsylvania. And I'm also a CPD accredited business and entrepreneurship coach. I've delivered workshops just like this for startups, universities, and business communities. So, what are we going to be learning today? So, first of all, we're going to be looking at the AI agent basics. We're going to be looking at things like learning language models, AI workflows, and leading that into AI agents and how they work. Then we're going to be having some demonstrations. We're going to be looking at AI chat agents and also AI voice agents. And then we're going to be looking at how businesses like yours can really get started with using artificial intelligence. And then I'll open the floor to a Q&A section. So, learning language models. Learning language models are the type of AI models that many of us have already used. We're thinking ChatGPT, we're thinking Google Gemini, we're thinking Claude. These are things that you've probably already been working with, and you can have conversations with them, you can generate large amounts of text. These models are trained on massive amounts of data. So we're thinking like websites, books, documents, social media posts, and they're really good at generating and editing text. So you send them a message or a prompt, and they generate a response based on the training that they've gained and the patterns that they've learned. So, for example, you might write a professional email for a meeting, and an LLM can generate a really great response. And they can reason as well, in the sense of if you send them a message, they're able to actually think about the best response and come up with an intelligent response. They can rewrite things for you, they can summarize things for you, they can draft things for you, and they can conversate with you. But there's a few things that they can't do. So LLMs are limited in a certain sense unless they are attached to other tools through plugins or through API connections. So they're unable to access external tools like your calendar or your email. They're also unable to search the web unless they're connected through an API connection or a workflow system. And they're also unable to take actions. So they might be able to draft an email, which is great, but they might not be able to actually send that email unless they're connected through a workflow. And they're not able to like move data between, for example, your CRM and a spreadsheet. So there's certain things that they're not able to do, and that's where AI workflows come in. So AI workflows is where a lot of business owners are currently at right now in their journey. They're using these step-by-step processes that connect different tools together to save you time. So you might have heard of Zapier or Make.com or N8N. These are workflow tools that help you to connect multiple tools, including AI systems and other systems that you might be using. So, for example, you might set up a chain of events when someone fills in a form, then a message is sent to the CRM, their data is stored in the CRM, and then they're sent like a follow-up email saying, thank you for signing up with us, or thank you for submitting your information. And this is an automated workflow that definitely can save you time and help a lot in the business. But there's one kind of key thing. Oh, you can't hear me? Are you able to hear me? One second, can you guys just leave a message in the chat if you are able to hear me or you're not able to hear me? Okay, so Felipe says he can hear me. So Laurie, maybe try reconnecting or joining on a different browser, and hopefully you will be able to hear me better. I'll try to increase my volume to make it easier for you guys, okay? All right, so back to these workflows. So with the workflows, they are being overseen by a human. You're the person that's in charge, and you're the person that's going to be making the decisions. The AI might be helping you with some content writing, but it's not actually deciding what to do and when to do it. It's just following a recipe that you have created. So why is this a problem? Well, if something changes, like a lead replies with some sort of custom request or something that isn't explicitly programmed into this workflow, the workflow isn't able to be like, oh, hey, let me change the tool, let me change this workflow slightly. And this is definitely going to be a big problem because you're going to have to come back into this and make changes. And that's like the opposite of an automated workflow because you're having to oversee everything. We call these kind of workflows programmatic workflows, where the humans are defining the logic. The humans are making all the choices, and the AI is just helping with some of the content side of things. So these kind of workflows are great for repeatable tasks, but when things get more complex or need judgment, that's when the AI becomes a better solution. Okay, we're having some volume issues. I'm going to try and talk louder to see if that helps, okay? Let me know in the comments if it does. So we have a next stage in this process, which is retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. So RAG is a setup where you connect an AI model like ChatGPT or Claude to a searchable database. This could be a spreadsheet, this could be a knowledge database, it could be a set of documents. So instead of the AI guessing an answer based on its training, it has to look up the most relevant information first, then gives a more accurate response. Think of it like you asking the AI a question and then it searches a Google database or your Dropbox. Then it writes the answer using what it's found. This is a customer support bot example. So customer support bots are often trained on databases with information about the business, information about customer problems that they often deal with. So then the chatbot can access this database and use that to respond to the customer's inquiry. So it's not just going off of the general, ChatGPT training, it's going off of this specialized database. And RAG is still just a workflow. If you're a developer, you're going to have to define how the AI connects to that data. You're going to have to define what to search and what to do with that answer. The AI itself isn't actually deciding when or how to do this. It's still just following a plan. So I've created a more businessy-like example using make.com, which is a common workflow builder similar to Zapier. A lot of businesses are using this right now for automated workflows. So here we can see that there's a trigger. This is the Google Sheets. So let's say, for example, you put your content ideas into your Google Sheets. This will trigger the workflow for Perplexity AI, which is an AI researcher tool, to research more about this content idea. This is passed on to Anthropic, which is going to actually polish this answer, make a nice response, and push this to your scheduling tool on Metrical. And this is going to allow you to automate social media posts. But RAG and this example from make.com is still being overseen by humans. So it's not actually an AI agent. There's no independent thinking happening from the AI agent. It's just a workflow. So think about it like hiring an assistant who follows a checklist. Now they can tick off all of the to-dos in the checklist, but they're not actually thinking for themselves. They don't actually have agency, right? So when you actually move on to AI agents, this allows all of these previous steps to come together. It's bringing the LLMs together, it's bringing the workflows together to create this agent where the agent is now in charge. The agent is now the decision maker. So it's looking at all the tools that are available, it's looking at the goal of what it's trying to achieve, and it picks and chooses which tool to use and when in order to actually achieve the goal. So you will get a guide. I'm doing an AI prompt starter pack at the end, and I'm also offering a free consultation to all businesses. So I'll include that at the end. Also, we have a Q&A section if you do wait till the end, and you can answer any questions. I can answer any questions you have. So the AI agents are actually controlling the logic, and they are figuring out how to get there step by step. And the key thing is these AI agents are actually thinking and reasoning, coming up with the best plan to actually achieve the goal. So let's say you wanted to summarize a sales report and then email the findings and then schedule a follow-up meeting. Instead of building each of those steps manually, the agent can actually work out what needs to happen and then it can do it, right? It then acts. They don't just think, they do. So they might be searching the web, they might be calling APIs, they might be sending emails, they might even message you on Slack or Teams, depending on what you're trying to achieve. And they know when to do these things because you're choosing the actions based on reasoning, not on these hard coded rules that you've given it, not this hard structure that you've given it. And here's one really cool thing that it can do. It can actually iterate. So let's say an agent writes a customer reply and then it realized that it doesn't answer the full query. It can go back and then reanalyze the problem and try again. So some agents even use a second AI model to look at their own output and then edit it, almost like a secondary proofreader or secondary editor. And this is going to help it produce better and more accurate human-like results without you needing to step in. And it works towards an outcome, right? It's not just following a system, it works towards an outcome. So I'm going to be showing a short demo on a chat agent that I've built in N8N. So give me a moment, I'm just going to share my screen and we'll have a look at how this chat agent works.
Hello, so this is the chat agent that I have created in N8N. It's a very simple workflow that is basically a calendar assistant. So it's going to help me to find out what events I have coming up in my calendar through a conversational agent. Now, this is just a very simple agent that I'm showing you for demonstration purposes. You can attach a lot of other tools, make much more complex workflows, but this is just something simple for us to understand how it works. So when a chat message is received, so when I send a message, it's going to go to that agent. The agent is going to decide how to utilize the tools to come up with the best result. So the LLM it's using is OpenAI. This is how it's going to conversate and think. And then it's going to use a memory feature to remember parts of our conversation. And then if and when it needs to, it will extract data from the Google Calendar. So I'm going to start the conversation by saying, hi, how can I assist you today? Can you tell me what events I have for the 25th of June, 2025? Can you provide me with a time frame? I'm going to say all day. Okay, so it's showing me that on the 25th of June, I have an investor meeting. I also have a financial reports review, and then I've got a meeting with Julie Mayfair, and it's also input the links, which is very nice. I'm also going to ask it another date. So I'm going to say, thanks. What events do I have for the 29th of June of July 2025? I've got an AI agent boot camp at 6 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. So this is just an example of how an AI agent works. Like I said, we can create many different agents. We can create agents to have conversations with your clients, lead generation, marketing purposes, customer service purposes, email management. We can create many, much more complex agents. Here is just a short demo of how a simple agent works.
Okay, so here I covered a chat agent. Next, we're going to be looking at some voice agents. So, voice agents are actually being used a lot these days, and you can create one relatively simply using 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is a tool to create AI generated voices. You can clone your own voice or you can use other voices. So here we can see how you can set it up by actually having your language. So you can use English, you can make it bilingual if you want. You can have the first initial message, and then you can input LLMs into it in order to make it smart and intelligent. You can also train it. So you can say, okay, this is what your personality is going to be. This is the goal you're trying to achieve. And you can connect this with a system like NAN to actually complete further steps after you have the voice agent conversation. So you could potentially link it with your booking system. So the voice agent could have a call with a person, a potential client, and could end up booking a meeting in your booking system. It can send confirmation emails. So these voice agents are really useful and really intelligent. You can also adjust the stability, you can adjust the speed of the voice. After you test it, you can kind of figure out what you really like, what's working, what's not working, and you can create something that's really sophisticated. I've also linked it with Twilio. So Twilio is a voice calling system where it gives you like a dummy phone number. So if someone calls this number, or it can make calls from this number, and they will be attached to this AI agent. So I've got two demonstrations on how these agents can actually work, and I've given some scenarios. So demonstration number one, I want you to imagine that you're a real estate agent and you're running an agency where your staff are having to spend a lot of time following up on inquiries, finding out more information from the potential clients, and then booking them in to actually view properties. You're then having to book that into your agent's calendar and send confirmation to them and to your staff members as well. So I'm going to play a short demo on how this works.
Absolutely no problem at all. I'm here to help you every step of the way. Now, based on your budget of 25000 and your interest in South London with access to good local schools, I have a few great options in areas like Croydon, Sutton, and parts of Lewisham. Would you prefer a flat or a house? And how many bedrooms are you ideally looking for?
I would prefer a house, and ideally I'd be looking for 3 bedrooms.
Perfect. A three-bedroom house in South London within your budget is definitely doable, especially in areas like Croydon and Sutton, both known for excellent schools and family-friendly neighborhoods. I have a lovely semi-detached in Sutton with a garden and close to top-rated primary schools. Another option is a terraced home in Croydon, recently renovated, walking distance to transport and schools. Would you like me to send you more details or arrange viewing for either of these?
Yes, I'd love to arrange a viewing. When can I come?
Wonderful. I'll get that sorted for you. Would you prefer weekdays or weekends for the viewing? And is morning or afternoon more convenient for you? Let's know what works best, and I'll check availability right away.
Is I'd like the weekend in the evening, maybe around 5 p.m.
Got it. Weekend around 5 p.m. Perfect. I'll check availability for both the Sutton and Croydon properties and get back to you with confirmed viewing slots.
Okay, so the obviously the person or the potential client was myself, but the actual AI voice was the person I was talking to. So on here we've set it up to be an Indian lady. You can set it up for whatever type of accent you want, and ideally you would link this with a booking system that would actually book it and send the confirmation as well. And this type of voice agent is really good. I mean, just a year ago, year and a half ago, these voice agents were really easily distinguishable. And I created this on the free version. When you do the paid version, the voices are even better. They're even more realistic. So I've got a second demonstration. So with this demonstration, I want you to imagine that you're running a dental clinic, right? A dental surgery. And your staff are spending a lot of time dealing with calls and client requests for them to book appointments. So I've taken a short clip of a call that I did with an AI agent that I made. Okay.
Hello, I am Manya speaking from Clove Dental Clinic and I am here to assist you today. May I know your name?
Hi, my name is Amber Lanning.
Hi Amber, it's wonderful to connect with you today. I'm here to help you with any dental concerns you might have. What brings you to Clove Dental today? Are you experiencing any specific dental issues or do you have questions about our services?
Yes, I'm having like some pain around my tooth at the back, and it's really hurting when I brush and when I floss.
Oh no, Amber, that sounds really uncomfortable. I can understand how painful that must be, especially when you're trying to maintain good oral hygiene. Tooth pain at the back can be quite bothersome. Can you tell me how long you've been experiencing this pain? Has it been a few days or has it been going on for longer?
It's been going on for probably about a week now. It's really irritating me.
I completely understand, Amber. A week of tooth pain can really affect your daily routine and comfort. That kind of persistent pain definitely needs proper attention from our dental experts. To help you get the right care, may I know which city or area you're located in? This way, I can tell you about our nearest Clove Dental Clinic where our experienced dentists can examine your tooth and provide the best treatment.
Okay, so that was just a short clip of a call that we set up. But businesses, all types of businesses are implementing this type of voice agent. So one way that you can do it is if you're running ads, you as someone books in a call with you, you might do an immediate call to qualify that lead. You can set up an AI agent for lead qualification. There are so many different applications for this type of tool. And these are things that we're at Mindable are building for our clients all of the time. So let's move on. So I'm going to now be looking at how you can get started on building an agent in your business. What are the steps? If you have never done it before, what steps do you need to take to actually get started? Well, what I would first say is that you definitely need to start off small, okay? And by starting off small, you're going to be identifying repeatable tasks that you're doing that are probably quite simple, okay? AI agents aren't just going to transform your business overnight. It takes building and it takes steps of like multiple agents. And when you have multiple agents working together, we call this agentic workflows, okay? So you're going to ask yourself some key questions like, where am I spending the most amount of time per week on tasks that are like really boring and really not stimulating me? It might be like responding to your client emails or handling your bookings. And if it's very repetitive and boring and painful, then it's the perfect candidate for you to introduce an AI agent. So you're not going to start off with your most complicated problem. You're going to start off with where you can get the fastest wins. You're going to look at your own business for simple patterns and think like, okay, what did I do yesterday that I'm doing again today and I'm doing again tomorrow? So start off small. Then you're going to want to set clear goals. Think about what am I trying to achieve with the use of AI? It's very cool it's very cool all these tools that we have and we're like, yeah, we can throw AI into our business. But what is the actual outcome that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to save time in your admin tasks? Are you trying to improve your customer experience? Okay. Looking at things like improving response times or increasing output. These are all examples of goals you might be trying to achieve. So for example, imagine a retail business might want to improve customer service by handling queries more automatically. Or a marketing agency might want to increase content production without hiring more staff. These are the kind of objectives you might be thinking about for your own business. So after you come up with your objective and you come up with the repetitive tasks you want to replace, you want to actually look at what AI can do. So I've given a few examples or use cases that you might be interested in. So content creation is a big one. Every business needs content, and most of them struggle with it to keep consistent with it. So you might want to create an AI agent that can take a blog post, extract key points, and generate multiple social media posts, generate LinkedIn posts, generate Instagram captions, generate email campaigns. It's not just ChatGPT writing text, it's actually a system where it takes that long form content into multi-channel content plans and executes it for you, which can help you remain consistent with your AI. Okay, cool. What about leads? So we spoke about following up with leads. So a lot of people get leads, but they maybe take too long to reply to them. And this is a surefire way to lose that lead. If you implement an AI agent to follow up via WhatsApp or SMS or email or a voice agent to actually connect with that lead, make a connection for your business, you can save yourself a lot of time. And this is a really great place to start if you're using a lot of time following up with potential leads. And the key is it's doing it personalized, but it's doing it quickly, which could potentially increase your conversion rates amazingly. Also, admin. So no one starts a business thinking like, yeah, I want to do loads of spreadsheets. I want to be putting data into spreadsheets all the time. That's boring, unless you're an accountant. So AI agents are able to maybe capture data via forms, via website, via CRM data, and then they can log that and they can trigger things to happen after. So maybe trigger onboarding emails. Very simple, but very powerful. And then also reporting and analysis. So you have loads of financial data, marketing data, and you have to look at it, analyze, and then figure out what you can do with that. Now, you could create an AI agent workflow that can analyze your data, generate reports, make suggestions, and potentially even take actions based off of that data. Kind of like having an analyst in your business who's doing all the work for you and making recommendations for you. So here's a few examples of how you could be using AI agents, but honestly, the amount of tools you can connect to, it's genuinely limitless. So I've done a list of a few tools that I think would be good to start off with. So whenever you do build AI agents, there's definitely a learning period, especially if you're not technical. You're going to have to learn things like how to make API connections, how to deal with errors. And these are some tools that are really great if you are starting out to kind of experiment with and then build on that. So I've set up a simple workflow similar to the one that we saw in the chat agent demo, where the AI system is working to complete a task. It all starts off with the trigger. And then from the trigger has started, the AI system is deciding how it's going to use the LLM, how it's going to take action. And with agentic workflows, ideally you're going to connect to multiple tools, and then the AI agent decides how to use those tools. So I'm setting up a quick task for you guys to do, just 5 minutes, where I want you to basically do what I've just described. So first of all, you're going to figure out a repetitive task that you're completing in your business. And then you're going to figure out what goal you're trying to achieve by replacing this repetitive task. What are you actually wanting to do in your business by implementing AI? Then I want you to write down some of the tools that are involved. These could be tools that you're already using or tools that you want to use, any tools that you think would be good for this workflow. And then the output, the action that you actually want it to take. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to complete this. And if you can, just leave it in the chat so we can kind of see what you come up with. Okay, 5 minutes starting now. Okay, so I've got a question here. There are lots of tools. How can you select one according to the use case? Even when we integrate with MCP and let the agent decide the best tool. So you can use AI to help you figure out the tool that you want to use. You can use an LLM and ask it and say, look, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Which tools would you recommend? But if you're doing something simple, if you're trying to replace something that you're already doing, I would suggest thinking about the tools that you're already using. So let's say you're using ChatGPT and then you're using Gmail. Okay, well, we already know that we're going to have to link these two tools together. You're also going to have some sort of automation workflow tool. Yeah, I can put it on the previous slide. You're also going to have some sort of automation workflow tool. So you might need Zapier, NAN, Make.com to actually create this workflow and connect those applications together. So start off not with the tool, but with the goal of what you're trying to automate and what you're trying to achieve, and then go from there. The starting point is, okay, what task am I trying to replace and what am I trying to achieve by replacing it? And then that will help you to work out which tool is best for your business. Okay, we're halfway, guys. The one that shows the tools for tasks. Ah, yes. Here we have the tools. So these are some commonly used tools, some basic tools that a lot of businesses are already using. Which does same task nowadays? Yeah, it's definitely true. We live in a world of SaaS, right? You always hear about SaaS businesses, software as a service. There's so many different ones out there. A lot of them are very similar. Some have benefits here, some have benefits there. So I would definitely start off with the ones that are most affordable to experiment, the ones that have a free trial, and then you can kind of see if it's worth it. But I would say definitely keep it simple to start off with. That's why it's important not to confuse yourself, because there's so much opportunity with AI. It's very important that you don't confuse yourself, right? Okay, so Rallo Bears World, love the name by the way. ChatGPT, the goal is to bring more visibility to my business and promote my brand and product. I've created custom GPTs and agents, but they're not connected via API. I want to do that next. I'm not sure how. This is a great one that's actually very good for you to do. So I would definitely recommend, if you want to link it using an API, you're definitely going to want to use some sort of workflow system like NAN or Zapier. And then you're going to want to connect it via the API by going onto Open API. You have to have a pro version, which you obviously do because you've created custom GPTs, and look for API documentation. Within the API documentation, you'll be able to actually see what you need to do the API connection to link it. But we're going to be offering another workshop where we'll be teaching you how to do that, and I will tell you about that in a second when we've finished here. Yeah, emails definitely take up a lot of time, and content creation too. And we're going to be covering that in our next workshop. So I'll tell you about that in a sec. We've got 20 seconds left. If there's anyone else that wants to submit, I'm ready for you now. If not, we'll be moving on shortly. Right, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So, employee details database and reminders. What is the goal? You want to remind lead staff of date of births, PTOs, job anniversary. You're going to use your CRM. So this might be like HubSpot or a spreadsheet, calendar. And then the output is employee special dates notification. Oh, so this is for keeping up with important dates with your employees to make sure you're maintaining that relationship. That's a very doable one. Another one from Ronan. I want destinations to visit in an area. Choose the best of them in an itinerary. Use ChatGPT and have the itinerary and the time frame. Okay, so you know the agent I created in the demo where you basically have a conversation with it. If you connected that with an LLM and then potentially connected that with an itinerary tool or even like your diary tool, like your Google Calendar, similar to what I created, this one could be really cool to set up for you. And then Manan would love to have a hands-on workshop. Okay, guys, that's what I'm going to be telling you about next. So before I tell you about the workshop, we've got one last slide and then I'll tell you about our follow along workshop. So it's great to set up these tools, but what's really important is that you have a look at your return on investment. So if you're running a business and you set up a tool that saves you 3 hours a week, that's great. But is it actually saving you money? Well, in order to work that out, you have to put a value on your time. This could be, you know, how you feel it's worth. Like I feel that my time's worth 100,000 per hour. You know what I mean? But everyone has a different value on their time. Or you could use, you know, how much you charge for your services, how much time you're having to invest with your clients, and how much time you're spending per hour, and then work out how much that value is per hour, if that makes sense. I feel like I confused that a little bit. And then you can work out how much your time is worth per hour. And then you can say, okay, if my time is worth £50 an hour, then I could save £150 per week if I'm saving 3 hours. This works out at £600 a month or £7,000 per year. And if the cost of the tools, because when you're creating these AI agents, you have to pay for tools, is £50 a month, but you're saving £600 a month, that's more than a 10x return on your investment, which is clearly showing that this is a great investment for your business. So for those people that are interested in like a follow along workshop that we're going to be really breaking down, showing you, building with you, and assisting you with the technical side of things, we are launching an AI and automation bootcamp. In this bootcamp, we're going to teach you how to build a content generation agent, a lead generation agent, and a voice agent, all in a 3-hour session. So we're holding this session on Tuesday, the 29th of July at 6 p.m. till 9:15 p.m. So technically it's 3 hours and 15 minutes. We've made it evening, so it's more accessible to everyone who doesn't really have the time in the daytime because of whatever work, whatever you've got going on. And we usually charge about £500 for this type of workshop because you're going to learn so much. But for you guys today, I'm offering a special offer for £300, okay? This offer is valid for the next 48 hours. So if you book in the next 48 hours, you can get a massive £200 off of this workshop. And we've got 2 payment options to make it easy depending on your circumstances, right? Because not all of us have got like money to splash out. So option 1, you can pay in full, it's £300. Option 2, you can pay £100 deposit, okay? And then you pay the remaining balance the day before the actual event, which would be Monday, the 28th of July. And this is a 48-hour offer, like I said. So I'm going to post the links to actually book this in our chat here, okay? So the first link is to pay in full, and the second link is to pay in parts. And if you pay in parts, it's £50 more if you're splitting the payment. So there's 2 options there for you guys if you are interested in a really step-by-step, follow-along technical support. I'm going to be joined by one of my awesome AI developers at Mindable for the technical support as well. So it will be me and my business partner, Yash. And this workshop is definitely going to be a great next step from this workshop. So if you're interested, click the links and book within the next 48 hours. If you want to join after 48 hours, you can, but the price is going back up to £500. And then if the boot camp seems like, okay, I'm not really ready for this boot camp, or I'm not really sure what the right steps are for me, we offer a free consultation to all businesses where we can actually look at your current business, look at your current strategy, and we can suggest, steps for improvement. This is not the same as the boot camp and the steps. We're not going to go through step by step how to build it, but we'll give you some recommendations and suggestions, and we'll tell you more about what we do as a business, because we also do workshops like this for individual businesses. You can have like a specialized custom one-to-one workshop. We also offer consulting, which is ongoing services of advising and support. And then we offer custom automations. So if you don't actually want to build this system yourself, you want us to build it for you, we can actually just build the AI agents for you, AI chatbots, AI workflows. So if you're interested in any of these services, you can book a free consultation, which I'm posting in the chat now. Okay, so I'm going to be opening up the floor for any sort of questions. And then once the Q&A is over, I'm going to post the AI agent starter kit in the chat. Now, do we have any questions from anyone? I know this has been a really active chat. I can see someone like Raylo Bearsworld has said pounds. Yes, it is in pounds. So I am located in London, the United Kingdom. So we do actually run everything in pounds. And I saw when I looked at the orders, we actually had lots of people from lots of different countries. So if you want, would you mind just like leaving where you're from in the chat if you're not from London? Because I'd love to see, you know, how we're getting overseas all across the world. And I'll be awaiting your questions. Oh, Germany, that's amazing. Do you know, I've never been to Germany, but I really want to go. Alaska, oh my gosh, is it cold? I actually went to Switzerland, to the Alps, the Swiss Alps. I flew to Geneva. That was amazing. And Wales, do you know what? I went to Wales last year for a holiday. We rented, like, me, my mum and my daughter, we rented like a cabin. And it was so beautiful. We went like for hikes. We went and saw this waterfall. It was called Devil's Bridge. And my mum didn't want to go because it said it was called Devil. That was so funny. USA, Ireland, another Alaska. We're popular in Alaska, I can see that. And the USA, but yeah, but what state in the USA are you from? Where are you actually from in the USA? Can you give me free tools where I could deploy my own chatbot for free? Yeah, so there's a chatbot system called VoiceFlow, and you get a number of credits. So you will be able to launch it, but it gets to a point where you run out of credits. So I would suggest that to start off with. But if you do get a large number of users, then you will have to eventually buy credits. But to be honest, a lot of these AI tools, or not even just AI tools, a lot of these tools usually have a free version or a very low cost version, usually less than £20 a month. So I would definitely recommend, you know, experimenting with it, seeing if you like it, and then maybe paying for the pro version. Oh goodness, okay. I'm loving the worldwide audience that we have here today. All right. You must be an FBKS. What is FBKS? Oh, Laurie. Okay, I thought you were talking to me. I said, what's FBKS? Could you train an agent to find opportunities on social media? Definitely, you could train an agent to find opportunities on social media. What type of opportunities? Are you thinking work opportunities? Does the payment link convert from pounds to dollars? Yeah, I believe it does. It's using Go Cardless. But you're going to pay the value in pounds. So you might end up paying in dollars, but it will convert it to the value of what we've set the pricing to. In the Netherlands, what's the Netherlands like? Texas, amazing. Okay. I really want to go to South Africa. Ever since, you know, Tyler, ever since she started making music, it's been inspiring me to go to South Africa. Okay. All right, guys, do we have any more questions before we finish today? Please save the links that I've shared in the chat, the ones to the 48-hour offer for the bootcamp, and then also the one for the free consultation. I'm going to share the link to the little AI agent starter kit, which has just got some tips and guides on things that you can use for your when you first start setting up your AI agents. But I would definitely suggest that you join the bootcamp if you're really serious about getting started with building these AI agents. We're going to be finishing there. Job scraping tools. Not necessarily. Oh, do you know what? The tool I like for job scraping is Phantom Buster. So it's not actually job scraping, but you can scrape businesses. So let's say you were looking for a job in real estate. You could go onto Phantom Buster and you could ask it to scrape all of the real estate agencies within your area that you live in. So let's say I live in London, so real estate agencies in London. Then you could set up an automation tool to send out a personalized email to each of these agencies to actually contact them. So, and then they can email you back if they have any opportunities. Because a lot of jobs, a lot of businesses, they might be looking for someone, but they're not going to be putting it on Indeed or putting it on LinkedIn or putting it on Reed or wherever you are in the world you're putting the job site. Sometimes it's actually better to reach out to them directly via email. So I would scrape the businesses using Phantom Buster. I'm going to add it in the chat. Phantom Buster. Yeah, Phantom Buster. And then you can actually scrape the businesses and the emails. That's the most important thing. It will scrape the emails for you. And you can set it to, scrape the emails of the decision makers as well. So that could be really good. And you can also use Phantom Buster integrated with LinkedIn for cold outreach on LinkedIn. So it can like scrape a list of, let's say, real estate agency owners on LinkedIn, and you can set up automated connect with that person and then send them a message as well. That's another great way to reach out to businesses. All right. I want to thank everyone so much for joining today. I hope to see you guys in our bootcamp or in our free consultation session. And we're going to be running workshops like this pretty regularly. So follow us on Eventbrite to see when we have more free workshops coming if you're not going to be joining the bootcamp. Okay. Thank you so much.